done, and I've done the Baines card, which I said I'd do. It didn't take me long actually, because it was a labour of love and I wanted to do it. But that's the card I made for her. That's the front of it, and I've got a couple of things on it. These are things that I got from Ted. Ted sent these. They're little embellishments that he sent. These are there, and this is the organza ribbon that he sent. This is a red one, very, very delicate. It's beautiful stuff. And these are the castle and the fairy princess, and the other bits are my own, of course, which I put in. And I braised it up using Ted's. You can see the things behind there if you look carefully. The little glue, the glue on both sides to put the pieces on, and yeah, and I spent a while putting these little dots on the sides. I don't know if you can see it there. Yeah, there's hundreds of little dots all the way around there, which I rather like, and I hope she likes it. Anyway, she might be a bit young to appreciate anything like that. And inside I put a loose filigree bit, and the flowers are mine. The butterflies are from Ted. Ted sent the butterflies, and the little girl I printed from the net, and then I hand coloured it with my watercolours. They're all hand painted them, and I put a little envelope inside, and then inside the envelope I put a little envelope and it's got to Evie, and there's some special bits and pieces, a little message to Evie to say thank you very much for the card, and everything's homemade, all the envelopes and the flowers and everything, you know, they're all homemade, and then there's a few bits and pieces of scraps in there for her to play with if she wants to play with them, whatever girls want to do. She seemed to like the last one, so I put a few more extra bits in for her. And that's a little note to Evie to say thank you for a card she sent me, which I was really, really chuffed with. And yeah, I've got a little note on the back, handmade cards, and which I usually put on. So that's the one thing I've been doing there. And then this is the finished box for Rose. Ted will be pleased to know I've got this finished. So I'm not going to show inside. I'm going to show inside the box, but I'm not going to show inside. There's a couple of little letters there for Rose, a couple of notes and things like that. But I've shown this before, so there's no. And this is on with pearlescent card, which I was telling Ted about. I was trying to explain to him about pearlescent card. It's shiny, but it's not fully shiny. But it's. I hope she likes that anyway. And it's not anything sparkling. It's just to cheer her up. I know she's a bit worried about going in for her operation. I haven't heard any more from her when she's actually going, or if she knows anything. But so that's the little card for Rose. I'm trying to make myself a bit of room and move along. And then I've been doing, these are for David, his brother. That's Mein Kampf, but it's an anti-Nazi classic from America. I've never seen it before, and I think it's a 19. I will find out in a minute. Yeah, 1939 political discussion digest. So it's a 1939 presentation, and I also did. A couple of books, well 3 in fact I've done, and they're all in the same vein. They're all black backing, and this I suppose this would have been a pamphlet or a loose or a soft back originally. I think it was about 50 cents old money, and this is I'll tell you what year this one is. This is a 1939. This is the first printing, and then the second printing. I don't know whether this is the first or the second. It's probably the second printing, and I got this off the net from America, and put my little logo in. It's not a bad little read. It's about anti-insurgency and spies and things like that in America and places like that. parts of America, Honolulu, and bits and pieces where people set up bits. And these are the two main books that he did ask me for. They're in 2 volumes. They are 2 volumes, in fact, so I've made them into 2 volumes. Although that's volume 2, and this is the first volume. This is the bigger of the 2, and I've done them both in the same thing. It's paper Charissa, in fact. It's what the class is a sort of a library paper. It's well wearing, but it won't take a lot of knocking. I mean, it's the thing you look after. And the books are made with the bubble jet printer, so if you get them wet, they will bleed. They will bleed. So I'm sorry about that. I don't have a. It isn't that they're more expensive than a bubble jet. It's that a bubble jet does more. Bubble jet does colours and things like that, whereas a laser jet doesn't. But a laser jet, when it prints with a toner, which doesn't run. But I'm not doing enough. I was thinking about getting a laser printer, but I'm not doing a laser printer now, because I don't think it's going to be worth it. There's not that many people wanting a book off me or anything, so I'm not that bothered. And there's no pictures in the books, none whatsoever. This is the original one, and it was from a PDF file. You can always tell a PDF file, because the pages keep transforming. Each page changes. It tells you something different on each page up here, up the top here. The helper, the fate of the worker, first members and stuff like that, which is a difficult thing to do. And this is the second book I did, which was that's a PDF file, which is a portable document file. And they're both verbatim. I didn't change anything, except in this one I changed the font size, which I've explained in the back. A little note in the back to say what I've done with it and why. And the colours, when you do a PDF file, because the pictures, the pages are in colour, so you'll change it. You'll see it change from sort of a colour, faded colour to a darker colour, where I've actually changed it. I can do things with PDFs, but not all that much. And this is a HTML one, and I have put pictures in this one, and this is volume 2. But I've only added that picture because I was going to put all the Goebbels and Goring and all the other ministers and things like this, but I haven't, because this is the pre-war. These are pre-war. These. And I think these volumes are, it'll be in the first book in any case. It'll tell you what it is. Anyway, and these pages are numbered from, each is numbered, although they're contiguous. That would mean that if this finished at 300, this would start at 301. I haven't done it like that. I've done it starting from 1 to 300 and then 1 to 300 again. So they're 2 separate books in any case. Yeah, the year of them is I will tell you the year when I find it. It's got 1924 in here. That's when he wrote it, but I don't know when this was written. I'm not quite sure. But the books are well made. I haven't. There's no complaints on the books. The books are rather well made. They're ordinarily made. They're not a fantastic book. I haven't done anything fantastic with them, but there's no faults that I know of in them. They've got the back endings in, and the end papers, and they're stitched and they're glued, so they should last quite a long time. So there you are. That's what I've been doing, and yeah, so I hope he enjoys them. I can't say that I enjoyed them. They're not a difficult read. They're a bit boring. They're full of shit and doctrines and things like that. They're for the initiated, and he tells you in the beginning about how it's better to be an orator, somebody that tells you something rather than somebody who reads something. So if David gets through these, he's a real die-hard literary person. But he might get to the smaller ones. Yeah, these two he might get through. The Mein Kampf, the anti-Nazi one, and this one here about the Nazis in infiltrating America and Britain. It's quite interesting, actually. That wasn't a bad read, actually. It's a bit light. It was a light read. Anyway, there we go. That's everything I've done. I've got to make a box for that one, for the Bane. Yeah, I've got to make a box for that, for Evie. And I'm going to put on the box, I've got some pictures, and I'm going to put a picture on the box in gold, surrounded by gold, similar to that, but not quite the thingy. And the other thing I've been doing is messing about with a new die I've got, and a couple of rubber stamps. I've got a couple of rubber stamps which I'll show you later on, not in this video. And I've got one with little rabbits on, and I'm just messing about with what I can do with it. I can paint them, of course. The birds, everything I get is virtually birds. But I've got a little window there, which will look quite nice, probably on a card. Yeah, the final thing I want to show you is these couple of books in boxes which I did for the two boys next door, and they're what I normally do, except that some of the things I got were I put on from Ted. I'll show you what they are later on, but I'll just show you what I've done first, and then nothing spectacular. That one's got a little Jeep on the inside. I'll stick a couple of little tanks on the other side, outside of the book. And the box is a normal box. I've just added a few embellishments. And that one's for Harry. The two boys are called Harry and George. And basically they're just a little notebook. And the wife said, "Don't you think they're a bit too adult for the boys like?" And I said, "Well, they're only going to draw in them, they're only going to write in them, or whatever they scribble for schools." And that's got his name in, and his little crest for the name George. And it's just an ordinary little notebook. It's 14 signatures. Yeah, 14 signatures. So that's one for Harry. And this one's for George. The only thing different on them is they've got oops. Yeah, the only thing different on them is they've got a different inside the book, that's all. I've tried to be the same, so there's no fighting about what's what on what. That's got a little bit bigger tank than that one, I think. And that one's got sergeant stripes, and that one's got a star. But yeah. And that one's for George. Yeah, I'm in a bit of difficulty because I'm only using one hand, the other hand's holding the camera, obviously. Yeah, that's for George. Yeah, just notebooks. So, and that's my final thing that I've been done. So, as I say, that's all I've done so far. And I'm going to wrap them up in a bit of special paper to keep them clean. I don't suppose the boys will have them clean, because them two boys will have them rotten in about 2 minutes. They're lovely kids, but yeah. And that one's got a star on. So, and that's my final items for this week.
With a peak cracking in my eyes, a hunger ghost around me, a holy faith that walk across the sky.